Hello everyone, welcome to the inauguration of the Yoga Sadhana and Vijayadashami celebrations. I'm going to ask Mamta to chant the prayer.
Sahana bhavatu, Sahanau bhunaktu, Sahaviryam karavavahai, Tejasvinavadhitamastu ma vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Yogena chittasya padena vacham malam sharirasya cha vaidyakena yopakarotam pravaram muninam patanjalim pranjaliranatosmi आबाहु पुरुषाकारं शङ्खचक्रासिधारिणम् सहस्रशिरसं श्वेतं प्रणमामि पतञ्जलिं श्रीमते अनन्ताय नागराजाय नमो नमः। श्रीकृष्णवागीशयतीश्वराभ्यां सम्प्राप्तचक्राङ्कणभाष्यसारम् श्रीनूत्नरङ्गेन्द्रयतौ समर्पितस्वं श्रीकृष्णमार्यं गुरुवर्यमीडे विरोधे कार्तिके मासे शतताराकृतोदयम् योगाचार्यं कृष्णमार्यं गुरुवर्यमहं भजे। श्री गुरुभ्यो नमः।
Thank you, Mamta. So today, because it's Vijayadashami, it is good to start with some new learning, or if you have already learned, to also revisit the learning. We are going to look at two different texts, Sankhya Karika and Dakshinamurti Stotram, composition of Adi Shankara. So I'm going to ask Madhvi and Mamta to start with chanting Dakshinamurti Stotram. We'll start with a few verses of the Dhyana, and the first verse from the Dakshinamurti Stotram, followed by Savitri, Eniko, and Shakuntala chanting from Sankhya Karika. Again, we have chosen a couple of passages from Sankhya Karika, and then I will come back and have a small discussion on the meaning of these chants. Okay, over to you, Madhvi and Mamta.
मौनव्याख्या प्रकटितपरब्रह्मतत्त्वं युवानम्
ॐ मौनव्याख्या प्रकटितपरब्रह्मतत्त्वं युवानम्
वर्षेष्ठान्ते वसदृशिगणैः आवृतं ब्रह्मनिष्ठैः
वर्षिष्ठान्ते वसदृशगणैः आवृतं ब्रह्मनिष्ठैः
आचार्येन्द्रं करकलितचिन्मुद्रमानन्दमूर्तिम्
आचार्येन्द्रं करकलितचिन्मुद्रमानन्दमूर्तिम्
स्वात्मा रामं मुदितवदनं दक्षिणामूर्तिमीडे
स्वात्मा रामं मुदितवदनं दक्षिणामूर्तिमीडे
वटविटपि समीपे भूमिभागे निषण्णम्
वटविटसमीपे भूमिभागे निषण्णम्
सकलमुनिजनानां ज्ञानदातारमारात्
सकलमुनिजनानां ज्ञानदातारमारात्
त्रिभुवनगुरुमीशं दक्षिणामूर्तिदेवम्
त्रिभुवनगुरुमीशं दक्षिणामूर्तिदेवम्
जननमरणदुःखच्छेददक्षं नमामि
जननमरणदुःखच्छेदं दक्षं नमामि
चित्रं sorry we are going to the
Tram Vatataru.
should I do that also?
Yeah.
Chitram Vatataror also? Okay. चित्रं वटतरोर्मूले वृद्धाः शिष्या गुरुर्युवा
चित्रं वटतरोर्मूले वृद्धा शिष्या गुरुर्युवा
गुरोस्तु मौनव्याख्यानं शिष्यास्तु छिन्नसंशयाः
गुरोस्तु मौनं व्याख्यानं शिष्यास्तु छिन्नसंशयाः
विश्वं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी
विश्यं दर्पणदृश्यमाननगरी
तुल्यं निजान्तर्गतम्
तुल्यं निजान्तर्गतम्
पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया
पश्यन्नात्मनि मायया
बाहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया
बहिरिवोद्भूतं यथा निद्रया
यः साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये
यः साक्षात् कुरुते प्रबोधसमये
स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयम्
स्वात्मानमेवाद्वयम्
तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नम इदम्
तस्मै श्रीगुरुमूर्तये नम इदम्
श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये
श्रीदक्षिणामूर्तये
Savitri, Eniko, and Shakuntala.
Yeah. अजामेकां लोहितशुक्लकृष्णां
अजामेकां लोहितशुक्लकृष्णां
बह्वीः प्रजासृजमाणा गुंसरूपाः
बह्वी प्रजा सृजमानागुंसरूपाः
अजोहेको जुषमाणो नुषेते
Ajo ajohyeko jushamano nushete.
जहात्येन भुक्तभोगामजोऽन्यः
Jahatyenam bhukta bhogamajonyah.
प्रीत्यप्रीतिविषादात्मकाः
प्रीत्यप्रीतिविषादात्मकाः
प्रकाशप्रवृत्तिनियमार्थाः
प्रकाशप्रवृत्तिनियमार्थाः
अन्योन्याभिभवाश्रय
अन्योन्याभिभवाश्रय
जननमिथुनवृत्तयश्च गुणाः
जननमिथुनवृत्तयश्च गुणाः
सत्त्वं लघुप्रकाशकमिष्टम्
सत्त्वं लघुप्रकाशकमिष्टम्
उपष्टम्भकं चलं च रजः
उपष्टम्भकञ्चलञ्च रजः
गुरुवरणकमेव तमः
गुरुवर्णकमेव तमः
प्रदीपवच्चार्थतो वृत्तिः
प्रदीपवच्चार्थतो वृत्तिः
Thank you, everyone. I think we can close the PPT for now, and Aarti, I'll ask you to show this later. Welcome once again. So these two texts, just to give you a little brief about Dakshinamurti Stotram, which was composed by Adi Shankara. I learned to chant from Madhvi. Unfortunately, my throat is not so good, so I'm not able to chant. It's a verse that is very, very dear to me, and have been sort of listening to the lectures on Dakshinamurti Stotram by Sri Ramanacharana Tirtha Nocho Swamigal for many years now. And every time I listen to it, something really fresh and nascent is born. It's almost like, the invisible, silent guru ever present in our life, whether it's outside in nature, whether it is inside in our heart, or in the people and all the life circumstances that we meet. The guru is ever present. What matters is the student ready to learn. Am I remaining a student to learn from anything that life throws upon us? And the prerequisite to study with this guru, Dakshinamurti is considered the first guru, the primordial guru of all the great seers that ever existed. Okay, it's a form of Lord Shiva, who came as a very young uh, teacher who taught older people. So all the students were Shishya. Was that verse? Madhvi, can you remind me? Guru Riva,
Gururyuva Vruddha Shishya.
Vridha Shishya.
Yeah.
And the teachings were in silence. Okay, there are different stories around it. Some other day, when we study the text properly, we can go into the stories. But the understanding is as related by Ramana Maharshi, as received through Nochur Swami. I believe one day the students were coming and learning from Dakshinamurti, and every time they would come back with a lot of questions and doubts. So one day they came and sat again with a lot of questions and doubts, and the Guru just remained silent for long, long, long time. And after a point, it's like you come and sit and you're waiting for the teacher to say something, then you wait and wait. You have a lot of thoughts and questions and curiosity in your mind. After some time, everything falls away, all the chitta vritti fall away. Okay, when there was that chitta vritti nirodha in the mind of the student, they could listen to the Guru speak in silence and teach in silence. So the prerequisite for study is a silent, quiet mind, not full of chitta vritti. At least ekagrata, if not chitta vritti nirodha. Yeah. So it is a kind of a reminder for us on this journey of yoga to ask, am I continuing to be a student? Am I willing to learn? Atha yoga anushasanam. And am I training my mind to be quiet enough so that I can listen to the teachings, which are mostly in silence? Yeah. Now, there was another story. I believe one day people gathered around Ramana Maharshi and asked him to explain Dakshinamurti Stotram. He said, oh, okay, yeah, we can do it. It was around 11 o'clock in the night. It was Shivaratri. So the hall was full, everybody was sitting around. He came, he sat quietly. He just sat and sat quietly until dawn. That is how we explain Dakshinamurti Stotra. So, in our life, I think silence is becoming very rare. Either we are so preoccupied with everything that's happening around in the world that we are not able to pull ourselves back, or even as we try to retreat, it's still the world that we take it in, and it's the world that we live in inside of us. We are not free from it. So, this particular verse of Dakshinamurti Stotram, in a way, reminds us of this. Vishwam Darpana Drishyamana Nagari. The first verse says Vishwam, the universe, the world around us. Darpana Drishyam. Darpana is a mirror, and Drishyam is what you see, the image on the mirror. Nagari is the city. So imagine there was a huge mirror, and that mirror could reflect the entire city on it. The Vishwam that we see outside, though I think what I'm seeing is outside of me, like I'm seeing all of you, I think I'm seeing you outside of me. Actually, it is simply a reflection on the self. That is what the first verse begins with. So know that everything that you see, everything that you experience is simply a reflection on our self by the mind. Tulyan Nijantargatam. So it is exactly like a mirror image. And the mirror is not reflecting reality as it is. Mirror always turns it upside down. Left becomes right, right becomes left, up becomes down, down goes up. Yeah, it's like that inverted tree in the 15th chapter of Bhagavad Gita. Right? Urdhva Mooladhar Shakam. It's like that. And this mirror that we see, which means my reflection of the world already is distorted. Again, Vritti Sarupyam Itaratra, the fourth sutra from Yoga Sutra. The same idea, right? Now, if the whole world is simply what I see within me as my own mind's reflection, then everything that I understand about the world outside is simply a reflection of my own mind. Yeah. So the understanding of everything, everybody, whatever is happening, whatever experiences we are going through, is simply my own mind's reflection. And to remember this. Pashyan Atmani Mayaya Bahirvo. So the whole idea of Maya is it seems like it is seen outside. It seems like I'm seeing all of you outside of me, but actually I'm seeing all of you inside of me. That is the Maya. Yeah. Bhutai Yatha Nidreya. How, through what example can I understand it? Through, I can understand it through the experience of sleep. So when I go to sleep and I have a dream, in my dream, this me is creating everything in the dream. So whatever I see in my dream, the people, the things, uh, the structures, everything that I see, whether it's a plant or animal, whatever is created by this me. Okay, it is projected by this me, and that I see as a dream. And in my dream, it appears as if it is happening outside of me, right? Bhutai yatha nidraya Yes, Sakshat Kurute Prabodha Samaye. Now, like in the morning, when I wake up from my dream, immediately that whole thing goes back, right? So, the entire structures or forms that I created, I put out there for me to see as a dream, they dissolve into the self in the morning. Like that, for a person fully awakened, they see the world as simply a projection outside, and when they are awake, they actually see it as a projection and not as a reality, not as something that is actually happening. Which means it doesn't mean that they don't see the reality. It doesn't mean that an awakened person does not see the table, chair, and people. But they're aware that what is inside me is what is inside them. Okay? And whatever I experience of the people and the world is simply my own projection. So there is something inside me that projects, that attracts these kind of people, these kind of experiences into my life. And as long as I know it is my own projection, I can take responsibility. Again, the whole idea of adhyatmika dukkha, right? I can take responsibility. If somebody is causing a lot of irritation to me, let's say, can I reflect on what is that quality inside me that I see in the other? Because this particular verse is very, very clearly saying whatever is outside simply is what is inside. There is no separation. Yeah. And therefore, as practitioners of yoga, I think it's a very important idea to remember that probably we are all living in a long, long, long dream. And we continue to live in the dream not knowing that we are in the dream. But in this moment, right now, as we are here together, as the prana is moving, can we just recognize this truth that something inside me is projecting, and that's what I see outside, but it's actually happening inside me. And what matters is my own experience of the reality. That is the only reality that exists, my own experience of the reality, because the way you will experience this reality will be entirely different from how I am experiencing it, right? Can we remember this? So, can we remember the vritti sarupyam state and say, this is where I am, and because of my chitta vritti, I am not in maunam, I am not able to listen to the mauna vyakhyana, right? And when the teacher teaches in silence, all the gurostu mauna vyakhyanam, shishyastu chinna samshaya, all the doubts will vanish when the guru teaches in maunam. So I am not able to be in maunam, I am in vritti sarupyam state. I want to move towards that state where I can be ever present in the self, rooted in the self, in the Atma, in deep, pure awareness, undifferentiated awareness. Atha Yoga Anushasanam. Am I ready for that? Okay, and what is it? I have to move towards Chittavritti Nirodha. And when I am able to move towards Chittavritti Nirodha, more and more I am closer to Tadadrashtuhu Swarupe Avasthanam. Yeah. So this is very briefly Dakshinamurti Stotram, first verse. It's a very inspiring and a very positive verse because recognizing where we are and the readiness to move forward is really the most important and first step, Atha Yoga Anushas. And to remind ourselves of that on this auspicious day. Then we will go to the uh, verse in Sankhya Karika, the 11 and 12. Maybe Aarti, can you just project that? Pritya Priti Vishadha, that the previous one slide before the last slide. Yeah. Now, why is this particular verse very interesting for me? Is that it talks about the three gunas, right? Um, and again, going back to Vritti Saropyam state, why is Vritti Saropyam existing? Because the Rajas and the Tamas are um, constantly fluctuating, and the Sattva and Rajas Tamas together they are functioning. So we are not able to have so much clarity because Sattva may not be dominating all the time. And because of the nature of Rajas, there is so much activity and movement in the mind. And because of the nature of Tamas, the mind also gets clouded, covered up. Yeah. So, what is the cause for that? If you go to the ultimate substratum of Prakriti, it is just made up of these three gunas, Sattva, Rajas, and Tamas. Now, normally when we think about the gunas, we think, yeah, I understand it very well. Activity is rajas, heaviness, inertia, density is tamas, sattva is clarity, lightness. We seem to understand it, but it is not so simple because it's really the fundamental building ground of all of nature, including our mind body complex, our psyche. Now, the more we understand how the gunas are playing within us in any given moment and how they are impacted by the practices that we do, by the food that we eat, by the lifestyle we follow, by the studies that we are doing, by the way we are engaging with the world. If we begin to observe and understand, again, to see the world as simply a drishyam on the darpana, on the mirror, the more I understand the play of the gunas, the more my practice will become relevant and important and indispensable. We have to reach a point where it is not possible without doing the practice because it is absolutely essential. And if I have chosen to be a teacher or a therapist in this lifetime, if I have chosen that role that I need to play, then it is important that we understand the gunas and work with them, work with our practice in a way that we can impact the proportion, the relative proportion of the gunas and how they function, because directly we cannot impact them. So Preeti is the quality of sattva. Apriti is the quality of rajas. So I'm just taking this reference from Srivatsa Ramaswamy's recent publication. Um, this was based on a series of lectures he gave on Sankhya Karika many years ago at Yoga Vahini. And many of our own teachers like Savitri, there were quite a few of you, Savitri, who supported to transcribe
Yes,
the
sir.
notes. Who all?
Eniko, Anita, Suchitra,
Uh,
Sohoni,
Pratibha.
Pratibha, yes,
So they,
Jyoti.
Jyoti, yeah, they all helped to put it together, and now it's in a book form. So I'm just taking from there. Okay. So Preeti is the quality of sattva. So we can examine when the mind is in a positive disposition, happy, um, there's kindness, there is love. It has a kind of an uplifting quality. Uh, it can move towards that which is desirable, that which will uplift us, then we are having that uh, quality of sattva dominating the mind. Apriti is the opposite of that, which is undesirable, that which will cause dukkha. So priti is that which will cause sukham, apriti that which causes dukkham. That which can disturb the mind. Then Vishada you can look at it as anything that restrains, that creates sorrow, depression, pain, all of that is Vishada. So Atmakam, this is the inherent qualities of the Prakriti. Okay, at the Mula Prakriti level, all these three are in perfect equilibrium. Then they actually, once the Purusha and Prakriti come together, which is happening moment to moment, these gunas are constantly shifting. There is no more equilibrium, right? So when Sattva dominates, there is Priti. When Rajas dominates, there is Apriti. When Tamas comes up, there is Vishada. Again, Prakasha is the quality of Sattva, which is clarity, and Pravritti, activity. Something that is moving constantly. That is Pravritti. And Niyama is that which we can call restraint. Niyama is also something that stabilizes. Niyama is required to bring that stability. So Sattva, Priti is also order. There is an inherent order in nature, which is sattvic in nature. Now that order has to be maintained by the right kind of activity, which is Rajas. And then there has to be enough stability, form, matter that is actually going through this change in a certain order. That is the Tamas. Okay. The purpose, niyama arthaha, anyonyaha, these work together. So these are beautiful qualities. Now, if you really want to understand the gunas, we have to understand these words. Okay, anyonya means they are so intimately connected. No, normally when we think with our mind, we think they're all in opposition with each other. That is guna vritti virodha, what causes dukkha. But in the natural state, in a natural state of health and well-being, these are so intimately connected that they work in anyonyam, they work together. Abhibhava, one comes up and the other two support that to come up. Which means when I have to sleep in the night, tamas comes up, the sattva and rajas, they actually go down so that tamas will rise. Abhibhava. Okay. Ashraya, they actually depend on each other and they support each other. Janana, because of these three coming together, something is born out of it, something is created out of it. There is a certain outcome because of these three gunas working together. So, in every action we experience, you can actually see sattva, rajas, and tamas in it. Don't see it as black, white, red. Blocks of black and white and red. They are shades of all of this coming together. Black is tamas, red is rajas, white is sattva. Lohita, Shukla, Krishna. That's the first prayer that Savitri did, right? So see it as shades and see how we can learn to recognize the sattva, rajas, and tamas because they're coming together and they're creating something. Yeah. So there is an intent, there is an action, there is an outcome to the action. In all this, these three will work together. Mithuna. Mithuna means they are so different from each other. This again, how like we confuse the Purusha with the Prakriti. They are so distinctly different from each other, but we confuse one for the other, right? Similarly, these three are so different from each other, but they companion each other and they work together, right? And so it is very difficult to separate and see them. Mithuna, vritti, activities of the gunas. These are the activities of the gunas. And then the next one, I'll just go through it very quickly. Sattvam, Laghu, Prakasham. Sattvam is both Laghu and Prakasham, that which brings lightness at the physical level, also at the level of the mind, and clarity at the level of the manas and the indriyas. Laghu Prakasham. Ishtam Upashtambakam. Ishtam is this is that causes desirability, or that which causes a certain sense of harmony and well-being when they come together. Then Upashtambakam activity Chalancha Rajaha. Upashtambakam is it is constantly creating activity, and Chalatvam is instability. It is the example given is usually like a monkey, Kapichala. So it is very unstable. That is the nature of the Rajas. So imagine what is it that we are trying to promote uh, through every engagement with the world. So whether we like it or not, now the Rajas is highly promoted. It's almost like it has become a default setting of the mind. Everything that we are doing through the social media and instruments, and all of these gadgets in some way is only promoting the rajasic quality. And of course, when we exhaust the rajas completely, then we go into the tamoguna. Varanam varanakam tameva. So varanam is that which covers up, that is a quality of the tamas. So the covering up, the fatigue that sets in because of the rajas completely getting exhausted and no place for sattva to come up, tamas takes over. And the example is given that lamb in Sankhya Karika. The example is that lamb. Can you go to that, Arti? Where the actual earthen pot is representing the tamas, that which holds everything together. Arti, can you go to the next slide? Yeah. Okay, tamas represents the earthen vessel, the rajas the oil and the wick, and sattva represents the light. Now all the three are required. One cannot exist without the other. So all the three gunas are essential for an aspiring yogi. Sattva is very important. But also remember, even sattva can become an obstacle sometimes because we get so attached and or identified with this idea of sattva. But truly to understand what is sattva, rajas, tamas, how are they working together? Anyonya, Abhibhava, Janana, Mithuna, and what's the next one? Anyonya, Abhibhava, Ashraya, Janana, and Mithuna. All these qualities have to be reflected upon. So we will do a short practice at the end once we finish the rest of the things that we have to do today. If you have any questions, please make a note. We can come back to it. Lekha, over to you for the yoga sadhana.
Thank you, Saras. So today is also not just Vijayadashami, but also the beginning, a very auspicious beginning to our latest edition of Yoga Sadhana. So Yoga Sadhana has evolved over many, many years. And I'm very excited about this particular format of Yoga Sadhana that we are offering, because it brings back to what Saras was saying. To really be able to learn from everyone, every context, everything in life, there has to be a certain amount of stillness, a certain amount of silence within us. And Yoga Sadhana is our attempt to actually discover that silence within us together. Yeah. So the current format of Yoga Sadhana is inspired by the book that Saras wrote, which again is a companion for the Yoga Sadhana. So it's not a book as much as it is a workbook. So the book is inspired by the idea of Kriya Yoga. There are 3 volumes. The first volume, Tapas, is the first principle of Kriya Yoga. The second volume is Swadhyaya, which is self-reflection, which is the second module of Yoga Sadhana, is inspired by that. And the third volume is on Ishvara Pranidhana, which the module 3 of Yoga Sadhana is inspired by that. So essentially, the idea that we have is that 365 days a year, we would like to walk together to discover that silence within us. Yeah. And the first 4 months of tapas starts today. So a very warm welcome to, we have over 52 people who have registered for the yoga sadhana. So it's going to be a very beautiful coming together of all of these people to create a practicing community. So I remember when Saras was seeding this idea of Yoga Vahini, I asked her what would Yoga Vahini be? And the one phrase that she said is, I want to create a practicing community. She didn't want to create an organization. She didn't want to create, a yoga shala in some sense. What she wanted was, she wanted to practice and she wanted people to practice with her, to inspire each other, to walk together, to journey together. So finally, after so many years of existence, I think we are in the cusp of creating that practicing community. Yeah. So the way we have structured the entire year-long journey, technically it's a year-long journey. We have split it into 3-4 months part, but essentially it is going to be a year-long journey. Yeah. And I hope that more and more people will join us as we walk along this path. So the way we have structured it is, there is Monday to Friday, there are 2 sessions on Mondays and Thursdays, which are asana pranayama practices. These are pre-recorded sessions that are taught by Saris and very beautifully demonstrated by Nitya, Tarini, and Veena. And we will show up 4 times on Monday and 4 times on Thursday, and actually stream these pre-recorded sessions. But Aarti and Divya will be there live to support you on this journey. So you have questions, you need modifications, teachers will be around, and they will also suggest how you could actually deepen your practice. Yeah. And on Saturdays, we will have a session which is focused on reflection and inquiry. Now, the thread that connects the weekday sessions to the Saturday sessions is journaling. So after every practice, there is a journaling prompt that will be offered, and we will journal and we will look at what we have learned, what insights we have, what reflections we have on Saturday. The practice on the mat is a very essential ingredient of any sadhana. But then the whole idea of sadhana is to take the learnings, the discoveries, the insights that we have on the mat to our everyday life. So Saturday sessions will also look at what practices can we weave into our everyday life that will help us to touch that silence within. We will look at food. We will look at all the other things that we consume. So food is not just the annam that we eat. Food is all that you consume. And I have heard my teachers say this again and again, what we consume consumes us. So we look at all that we consume and what is the quality of tapas, of discretion that we can actually bring to what we consume. We look at our lifestyle, we look at sleep, we look at how we communicate, how we show up in relationships, how we show up in the world. And these are not, some esoteric kind of things. We look at every day of our life. How am I showing up in this moment? Who am I at this moment? Yeah. So that's the whole idea of sadhana. So our hope is that at the end of 4 months, we don't just learn the definition of yoga, definition of tapas. We live these definitions and we discover for ourselves what yoga means to us, what tapas means to us. Yeah. On this journey, we have some very beautiful companions. So, of course, we have Saras, who will be teaching us. She will, besides the regular Saturday sessions, once a month, there is a master class, which Saras will be anchoring. It will usually be the last Saturday of the month. And there we will look at how can I go deeper. So I have done my practice. I have journaled. I have really spent some time reflecting, sharing, inquiring. Now, what does the text say? Right? Because there are three ways of really understanding reality. One is my own experience. One is what I learned from my teachers. And then what is it that the text says? And are all these three things in alignment? So that is what the masterclass is all about. Yeah. But besides Saras, there is Mamta, who you heard chanting the prayers and the Dakshinamurti Stotram. There is me, of course. And there is Gauri, Aarti, and Divya. So every participant of the Yoga Sadhana will have one of us as your companion. We will walk this path with you and try to be your friend, your support, and we will learn from you as we all learn together in the sadhana space. Yeah. So the last thing that I want to say about the sadhana space, which I find very beautiful, is when we used to do sadhana in person, we would always sit in a circle. While when we do all other sessions, like when you do acharya, you do teachers training, all of that, the teacher will be in the front and the class will be facing her or him. But when we do sadhana, we sit in a circle because there is no teacher student separation in the sadhana space. We are all in search of that guru, which is within us and within every other that we come in contact with. So with that hope that we will discover that guru within us and within every person, every context that we come in touch with, I will hand the space back to Saras because one of the things that is an outcome, not for everyone, but one of the things that is an outcome, and it happened with me, is as you study and as you practice, um, and do your sadhana, there is a certain sweetness that comes into our life, into our being. And then you get excited and you say, Eureka, Eureka, I have found it. I have to run and share it with many other people. So it may happen to some of you. In case it happens and you decide to share this knowledge further and be the vessel um, for this knowledge to move to the next generation of students and teachers, there is the opportunity to do yoga acharya. And again, yoga acharya is evolving. And Saras will tell us how the next yoga acharya is going to be very different from what it has been for so long. Thank you. And for every yoga sadhana participant, welcome. Our registration for yoga sadhana ends tonight, maximum tomorrow morning. So if anybody has been considering yoga sadhana and has not yet registered, you still have time till tomorrow morning. Thank you so much. Back to you, Saris.
Thank you, Lekha. I wanted to clarify one thing. Rekha said the weekly classes are on Monday and Thursday. We have four different time zones you can join. Ideally, you choose one and stay with that, because the routine is very important. You choose a particular time for your practice, space for your practice, and stay with it. Of course, if you're traveling, there are other things coming up on odd days. You can always find another time slot. But that's not the 2 days that you're going to practice. You're going to practice 7 days a week. The 2 days is only the um, practice that I'm going to be teaching and you can follow. And then you have the book. You have a choice to do your own practice. If you already are working with a teacher, you have your personal practice. You can do that on some of the days or the rest of the days. Or you do this practice. So you have already been part of the class. You have watched the video. You're doing the practice with the instructions in the class. You remember that when you do it by yourself. So we are not going to be sharing that video. It's important for you to listen to the voice and do it by yourself, so that we can really nurture personal practice. Otherwise, it will become like any other group class. We have to own up the practice, and we have to learn to internalize the whole thing and observe ourselves as we instruct in our mind and do the practice. You have, of course, the book. Those of you who don't have the book, we will share these practices with you until you get a copy for yourself. Okay? So that's something I wanted to clarify. Don't assume you're going to only practice twice a week. It's going to be 7 days a week. Now, coming to this big question, the moment we announced Yoga Sadhana, of course, every time we announce Yoga Sadhana, the question that comes up is, what next? Are you offering a teacher training program? Now, sometime the in end of last year, we finally decided we will stop all trainings towards certification, because over the years, especially in the last few years, since we got international accreditation and stamping from Yoga Alliance and IAYT and all that, it appears that, and even before that, I should say, even before that, before we had all these stamps, there is this whole Maya. It's a kind of a Maya, no? That we are seeing something, we're thinking that is real, but it is actually not real. It's something that is constantly changing. That this is very important, that I need to have this piece of paper at the end of my training, and that will do. That is enough. So we've decided that we will break that trend. We're actually, now deciding to walk the unbeaten path, because we're going to be offering learning space for people to learn, deepen your learning and your practice. And like Lekha said, if that sweetness that you experience from your own practice and learning, if that really inspires you to want to take it to more people, then you can step into the role of a teacher. But learning need not stop. So I remember in the beginning years when I used to train people, when people joined the course, they would say, I want to do this for myself. I don't want to teach. And I used to say, no, no, you have to teach and all that. It's so important to teach. We need teachers. After a few years, I stopped saying that, because I said, okay, let them learn. If they want to teach, that will happen. Even in spite of them, it will happen. Everything happens in spite of us only, right? So it will happen. If it has to happen, that is okay. Today, the way I'm looking at it is, it doesn't even matter whether you teach or not, but are you practicing? Because even if you are not a yoga teacher, if you are practicing, in whatever way, you will be able to bring the teachings to the world. Whether you're a parent, whether you're a coach, whether you're a doctor, whoever you are in this world, whatever role that you play, you will bring it into your life, and that's all matters. Yeah. We have to really break down this whole idea or identity of a teacher and therapist and all that, and simply learn, absorb, practice, and progress. That evolution has to happen. So we've been sort of thinking about it, deliberating about it, without the um, idea of offering a program that gives you a certificate at the end. Um, the question today is, will people even be interested in learning if they don't get that piece of paper at the end? Now, we are not saying you won't get a piece of paper, and I don't know when that end will come also, but make sure that you're not doing the course for that you're doing the course because you're really inspired and you want to learn and you want to deepen this, and maybe you can also bring it to other people. Many of my teachers who are such wonderful teachers don't have a teacher training certificate. I was thinking yesterday, I don't even know where my certificate is. I have not shown it to one person in this 35 years. Not one person has asked me to show it. I have not even shown it. It's hidden. Maybe I've even lost it. I don't even know. It doesn't matter. What matters is that you continue to learn lifelong, continue to practice, and when the flower blossoms, the fragrance will reach the world. There is no doubt. The fruit ripens, it will reach the world. Yeah, that is very important. So we have come up with a plan for the way forward. Now the plan is that we are going to offer uh, two formats. One is online courses over a period of time, maybe 15 weeks. Lesser than that, it will be too cramped. Then we are also offering in-person retreats, a combination of in-person retreat and online courses, along with internship and working with a mentor for the entire period of time. So each small cohort of people will work with one person who will guide them through the whole process, primarily their personal practice, but also the learning that is happening and learning how to integrate it. So, Aarti, can you show the slide? Yeah. So the level one is of course Yoga Sadhana, which, like Lekha said, is going to be a year-long program. The level two will begin after the first module of level one. So you don't have to wait till the end of Yoga Sadhana. As soon as we finish the first um, module of Yoga Sadhana, 4 months, we are initiating the level two. So we will be doing the uh, module 2 and module 3 of Yoga Sadhana along with this training program. Okay, so the first course, can we go to the previous slide? Yeah. So this will be, we'll begin with an in-person retreat, March 1st to 14th. It will mostly happen in Bangalore at the Heartfulness Training Center, Crest, where we have done other programs before. Between 1st and 14th, first is a Sunday, so you arrive on Sunday, and the first week will be the concluding session for the Tapas Yoga Sadhana Module 1 retreat. Then the entire 2 weeks will be for the teacher training. So we're going to overlap both. And roughly these will be the topics covered. We haven't yet sort of uh, looked at all the topics, but just I'm giving you a summary of what we intend to do. We'll do, of course, the Yoga Sadhana Module 1 concluding retreat. The foundations of Asana Pranayama practice. We will look at the Yama Niyamas more in detail and how to bring it into our practice and how to develop a personal practice. So I'm assuming by this time, 2026, yes, sorry, 2026. By this time, you already have a regular practice. Maybe you also have a personal practice that is regularized. Then we'll actually go into how to develop personalized practices. And then introduction to what is yoga and key concepts from the Yoga Sutra for practice, from the chapter 1 and 2 primarily. This will be covered in the retreat. Okay, 2 weeks retreat. That is the first course. And then go to the next slide. Course 2 will be online between April and July. So 15 weeks of 3 hours per week, where you will study the classical postures, their functions and application, pranayama techniques, their application and benefits. We will initiate course planning level 1 here, where you're going to learn how to do the course planning for postures, combination of postures, but keeping the classical functions and application in mind. Then we'll also introduce you to pratyahara and meditation. Okay. Course 2 will be completed along with Yoga Sadhana module 2 Swadhyaya. So that is 16 weeks. This will be 15 weeks. Do the dates mean first week March 1 to 6 is tapas, second week no, you have to attend the first and second week if you want to move into the teacher training. It's not just the first week, so there will be an overlap in the first week.
Uh, Saras, I just wanted to clarify what I wanted to understand about overlap
Yeah.
was whether in the first week, tapas retreat and teacher training would be running concurrently or
Yeah, concurrently. Then it in a way that you will also learn what is required for the teacher training. We'll also work with the yoga sadhana, the tapas part of it, concurrently.
Okay. I guess my confusion then is, as a participant, I've signed up for Yoga Sadhana online. Yeah. And as in the program that's starting from Saturday. And I come in for the retreat, right? And if I'm also called to do the teacher training, then how do I do that in March itself?
You have to do both the weeks. If you only want to do sadhana, you can leave after the first week.
Got it. Okay. All right. Okay. Thank you. That helps.
Then we'll go to the third course. So we'll do the fundamentals of asana pranayama, level 2. This will be again online. So that the previous one ends in July, we will have maybe 2 weeks or 3 weeks of gap and then start the next course, which will again be for 15 weeks, 3 hours per week. And the focus is again application of asana pranayama for Rakshana Krama. So there'll be a lot of focus on observation and modification of asanas. Course planning level 2 will come here, and learning how to teach Rakshana Krama. Okay. Pratyahara and meditation part 2 will be covered in this course. Course 3 to be completed along with the Yoga Sadhana module 3, Ishvara Pranidhana, which is for 17 weeks. The last module of Yoga Sadhana will cover 17 weeks, not 16 weeks. Then the fourth course is again a retreat. So this will be from January 31st to February 5th, where we are concluding the Yoga Sadhana and we are also concluding the teacher training program. So like I said before, the first week will be the Yoga Sadhana part and then the 2 weeks will be for the teacher training. So we'll do course planning level 3. We'll look at how we apply Bahiranga and Antaranga Sadhana in our daily life. And there will be an introduction to the yoga therapy. So this is almost like a precursor to the therapy training program. Now the internship part will have to be completed at the end of the course 2 for 6 months, so from August to January. Personal practice and mentoring will be for 50 hours from March 2026 to February 2027. So with this, all the basic training for the teacher training will be done, but we will be also doing other workshops and study programs later that you could take, because there is only so much we can cover in this kind of a format. And I don't want us to have an illusion that we have learnt everything, just dangerous. Okay, so I want you to leave you a little incomplete with some gaps so that you know that there are gaps and that you have to come back and learn. So we will be doing other workshops and study programs as we move forward so that uh, we continue to learn. This continuation in learning is extremely important, which I think, I mean, at least in Yoga Vahini, we are offering many such programs, but usually the idea people have is once I have a piece of paper in my hand that I have completed my course, I don't need to learn anything. I should already know, and I already know, and I have to manage with what I know, which is very dangerous. So, we want to really give you this foundation through the next 1.5 years, and then left to you to continue to learn. Internship in this context, Kantam, means that we will support you, the mentors and the entire team will support you to continue to learn. So you will be observing sessions, assisting other teachers, and we will give you teaching opportunities. And there are many community projects that we are doing in different parts of the country. Some are done online. So we will engage you with these programs. That you will already start teaching as part of these teams and you will learn as you're teaching. That is the internship part of it. Okay. And there will be the 2 other session. Yeah. So Priscilla, we will do 2 more sessions of 4 months each, Swadhyaya and Ishvara Pranidhana. Hopefully, the second and third volume will also be out by January. So you will have the books in your hand and the course will continue. And we are hoping to be able to offer Yoga Sadhana once a year as a year-long program, and through which, if there are enough numbers interested to go forward to train to teach, then that will also be taken care of. Internship is definitely possible through a regular full-time job. Some of us already have a full-time job who've done the training and who are teaching. So you don't need to leave your job, but you need to make time. Your weekends have to be dedicated for teaching, learning, maybe evenings, mornings, and that's how we learn. Yeah. This may seem like it's so many hours here and there. Like I told you in one of the introductions, the webinars, you see it as a life commitment. If you don't see it as a life commitment, it becomes difficult. Then you're trying to snatch some time here, some time there, and we struggle. And the other thing is, we want to say it is adult learning. Much of the learning happens on your own. We will offer whatever we can offer, we will support you. Nobody is going to pull and push and drag you in these courses. It is completely left to you. As adults, you will take responsibility for your learning and 100% responsibility. We will take care of 100% responsibility for the work we are doing. Okay, so like in programs in the past, it has been really difficult both for the students and teachers because we are struggling. We are all householders. Life takes over. So many things happen in our life, and then it's constantly like a tug of war. We have to keep pulling people up and reminding people, have you done this? Have you done that? None of that will happen. We are happily going to teach, and you will joyfully learn, but you take full responsibility for your learning process. Yeah, and only if you are really ready, sign up for sadhana. You have still sign up for the acharya. You have time, so you don't have to decide now. You have time, another 4 months to do that, at least 3 months to do that.
Saras, can I ask a question? Via here.
Yeah.
These modules for the teacher training acharya part, the second part, when you'll are publishing it on the website, would it be possible, or I'm sure you've thought about it, that even the teacher training part, if you're able to package each of those modules, learning modules, as independent
Correct.
study
Thank you,
modules,
dear. Yeah.
online based.
Yeah. That
Would
was
love
also
to
the idea.
attend where, yeah.
Thank you, dear, for reminding me. So many of you may have already done your training programs. Maybe you're teaching, maybe you're not teaching so much, maybe you've forgotten many things. This can be a refresher. So anytime you can come and join the course and just learn for yourself. So being part of the learning process uh, can be something that keeps your fire alive. Being a student is very important to be a good teacher. If we are not good students, it becomes very difficult to teach. So we are also offering these modules, whether it is a retreat, even the Yoga Sadhana retreat, the first week and or both the weeks. Then the courses that we are offering through the 15 weeks, they are open to anyone who has done, of course, who's doing the teacher training and who has done some basic learning in this tradition. So we may not, for example, if you want to join course 2 or course 3, we may not be able to start with the A, of the Krishnamacharya tradition. You should have already learned and be practicing to some extent. Then it will be easy for you to integrate yourself. Yeah, and if you are doing the teacher training, then there will be some level of review, assessment, all of that, which will be part of the process. But none of this is going to be for certification. Like I'm reminded of what Navtej Johri, one of our senior teachers, had mentioned in a talk. He said, whenever the student is ready, I would silently slip the certificate into their pocket. Harshita reminded that in the Sangha. So the certificate will come like that to you. Don't worry about it. Don't even think about it. Just learn. And I can guarantee that it will be a very, very joyful, fulfilling process. That much we can guarantee. Yeah, so we are doing one retreat this year, one retreat next year. Yes, thank you, Lekha. So, people who have joined the Yoga Sadhana, do you have any burning questions? We are going to start on Saturday. The first session will be on Saturday, right, Lekha? It will be between 4 to 6 p.m. IST. So, taking into account all those who have joined, of course, for people from Australia, it may be a little late in the day, but we have to accommodate people from UK and Europe, so we've chosen this time. And the Saturday timings will change depending, some days it may be in the morning, some days it will be in the evening. Okay, so we are going to start on the Saturday. Mridula fee breakup, we will share all of that very soon. We will share all of that, yeah. Saturday is 4 to 6 p.m. Muri, 4 to 6 p.m. IST. So we've completed this portion in good time. We have some time if you want to share something, not necessarily ask questions. People who are part of Yoga Vahini for a very long time, there's something that you would like to share, uh, wishing the new entrants who are going to do the Yoga Sadhana. We have about 15 minutes before we move on to the next portion.
Saras, I have one question, related to what we spoke today, if it's okay to ask.
Yeah.
So, it may be very basic for some, I don't know, but this, what I've understood is that the Purusha interacts with Prakriti at all times, and the idea is to bring silence into your life by balancing the, all the three gunas, right? So when you talked about this balance, you mentioned anonya, which means that these gunas come together in different variants, and the outcome of the action, or the outcome of whatever you are doing, is a result of these three gunas coming together in different variants. I didn't understand, I mean, I didn't pay attention. Maybe Ashraya, Janana, Abhibhava. Can you don't mind repeating if you have?
Sure. So, Anyonya is very intimately connected. They actually come together and work together. The idea of Anyonya and Mithuna are very close to each other, these two words. Yeah.
Mhm.
Anyonya is very intimate.
Mhm.
Mithuna is they come together and work together
Okay.
to each other. Ashraya is they depend on each other. So
I see.
Tamas will say, "Now I am taking over. This I have to put this person to sleep. You both come down. They will come down, and then Tamas will take over like that. They support each other. That is how they work.
Mhm.
And Abhibhava is at any given point of time one will come up, one will dominate, and the other two will go down to allow this to dominate. They're not fighting with each other.
Oh.
When that happens, which is called guna vritti virodha, then that becomes the cause for dukkham. This is what Yoga Sutra says in the 15th Sutra, second chapter. But usually they support each other. Okay, you want to come up, I will go down. Abhibhava is one dominating.
Mhm.
Then what is the other word? Ashraya, Abhibhava.
Janana.
Janana is they produce a result together. So they're not just randomly working. Every action of the gunas is creating some effect in our system, is creating some action, some vrittis in the mind, some emotions that we experience, a particular way in which we experience reality. All of that is happening through these coming together. So, Janana is what is born out of it.
How is it different from Anonya?
Anyonya is they're different but very intimately connected.
Mhm. I see.
This is just surface level meaning, okay?
Yeah. Got it.
Really observe. You really observe everything. Like right now, as I'm talking to you, you're listening to me. Observe what's happening inside of you. Can you be fully aware of the state of mind, how your senses are operating, what is happening in your body, how is your breath? Is the mind able to pay attention? Is it running away? Is part of the mind feeling a little dull and sleepy? Are you hungry? Can you become aware of the whole thing? Slowly, as you deepen the awareness,
Mm.
we will begin to have a sense of what this whole thing is about. Everything can be understood experientially, and every day in your practice, you can experience that. Like there are days when you do some, say you start off saying, I will do Tadasana and I will stay in Tadasana for 10 breaths. After the fifth breath, your shoulders will start aching, and then your mind will say, enough. 5 is enough for today. I was too ambitious. And then we abort. Now, we may be aborting the practice. Of course, you have to practice ahimsa towards yourself. Your mind will tell that also. I have to practice ahimsa, so I will do only 5 and not 10. It may be rajas because you're distracted. It may be tamas because you feel heavy and you want to stop.
Mm.
But it is all the three. The sattva has made the decision, right? And it is following through. The tamas is saying something, rajas is saying something. All of them work together. That is the anyonya.
Mm.
Got it?
Yes, thank you. Thank you so much. Yeah.
Saras, I have a question. I
Yeah.
like learning by reading. So, apart from your book, is there any additional reading that we could like like explore to especially understand these kind of terms and get familiar with the vocabulary a little bit also.
Yeah, for yoga sadhana, you mean?
Yeah.
Yoga sadhana, I think if you get hold of the heart of yoga,
Yeah.
that is more than enough for now.
Okay.
Don't read too much in the beginning, because reading, of course, is useful, but we are so much conditioned by the written word. No? Sometimes the written word and the word has connotations, associations, and we get stuck with those things.
Okay.
If you attend the classes, do your practice, do your journaling, engage with the community, a lot of learning will happen through that.
Got it. Okay.
Heart of yoga is good enough for the rest of it. And
Okay.
later for the teacher training, we'll give you a whole list. You have to read more.
Brilliant. Okay. Thank you.
Yeah.
Saras, Diya, can I ask a question? Diya,
Yeah.
in regard to this Dakshinamurti Stotram, when you were explaining it, and obviously it shows up in the Sutra and so many other study texts. When you talk about, towards the end where you talked about, what matters is my own experience of reality. What basically we're talking about what's inside of me, or within what's inside is what is being projected outside, right? So if one's inner being feels one's projecting a sense of happiness, calm, and there are maybe a person or two who are constantly projecting toxicity around the same environment, same space.
Yeah.
Is that also a projection in a way of my toxicity that is triggering? I mean, I guess I'm triggering somebody. I'm in a realistic situation, but like, why are you so angry? Is that my anger being projected and I'm deflecting it to feel very yogic in life? I mean, in a literal sense.
You're already giving the answer.
Sorry.
Really reflect. When you say there's somebody in my environment that causes toxicity, so even for us
Or
to say
happy,
this is
upset
toxic,
all the time.
happy, yeah, that experience, you're only experiencing that, the toxicity or the happiness, you are experiencing it. That the other may be the nimitta karana, maybe some kind of an incidental cause for that to get triggered within you, but you are experiencing it. If you are not experiencing toxicity, there's nothing there. It is like this, when as the baby is growing up, initial years, maybe even months, up to like 15, 18 months, the baby doesn't differentiate much between the self. There is no idea of the self also, right? They have not started speaking. They can respond to the call of their name, but they're not speaking yet. They will go to anybody. So you call the baby, come. In one of the retreats we did many years ago, we had one participant who had a lot of tattoos in his body, full of tattoos. Now, there were a few children in the retreat. We used to do family retreats. Now, one small baby, I remember it's Ashlesha's baby, she would go to anybody. Then there was a few slightly grown up children, 3-year-old, 4-year-old. The moment they saw him, they would start crying. Because in their mind, they've started differentiating, right? So, why am I saying this now? There is that mind which is beyond the mind, that space of pure awareness where you're simply aware of what's happening. Then there is a mind which is for the sake of protection. The mind is saying, this is good, I can engage, this is not good, let me withdraw. So even a unicellular organism, like in the biology of beliefs, Bruce Lipton talks about that. No? If you drop an amoeba in a petri dish which has nourishment, the cell membrane will become more porous to receive that nourishment. The same organism is put into a petri dish which is a little toxic, it will actually close up and withdraw so that it will not imbibe that. So all of us have that by nature, right? Which is necessary for survival. Raga and Dvesha are necessary for survival. But the way we experience the world, this understanding that something is toxic, something is giving me happiness, is part of the mind. This is very much happening, part of our instinct, our the way the mind is functioning. But it is our experience. Somebody else may not experience that. Somebody else may even be impervious to it. Somebody else may even not even see it as toxic or something giving happiness. Same situation. Two people can have completely different experience. What is that? So ultimately, the only thing you can rely on is your own experience. Somebody may share their experience with you, but it's still how you are receiving and how you are experiencing their experience. It is still not their experience that you are experiencing. And just to be aware of that.
Gabriella, do you want to go?
Hello. I want to give a, let me lower my, many greetings to all. And I have, I studied with Yoga Vahini, and I'm very grateful for, to life, for having me, yeah, open the doors of such beautiful and really so empowering Sangha and teachers, mentors. I wanted to share that I I finished the course on Yoga Vaidya, but I've been coming back and back to Yoga Sadhana, and totally resonate with what Saras was saying. Yeah, we are we're not teachers, we're students. And the learning, that humble posture of learning, is something we cultivate. And our breath helps us with that. No? And so I, in a way, wanted to welcome you, those that are joining and those that will join soon, to this process of new beginnings. I think that there could be different reasons why each of us have come to either Yoga Sadhana or to the path of yoga, but something we hold in common is that search for growth, you know, for transformation and for new beginnings. So really appreciated, particularly Yoga Sadhana, how it helps us to develop not just an attitude or habit of living life, but living life with awareness, no, body, mind, our emotions, and those that are around us, but particularly of our breath, no. And although we take responsibility of this process, we are not alone. And I really feel in the distance, no, with even though we are far away from each other, right? But that's that thread of the breath that we all breathe, no, that the air that we all breathe, that keeps us connected. And Yoga Sadhana also supports us with a teacher, with a sangha, no, and to see our individuality with and appreciate our personal practice, and learn through that on our own practice how to be able to serve other people. You know? So really, I think I totally agree that is the personal practice that moves us to be sensitive to to bring this gift to others. So I want to congratulate you, all those that are joining for the first time, and for those that are able to join again, and send a lot of love to my teachers and mentors from this other side. Thank you.
Thank you, Gabriel. So, shall we do a short practice now? Unless there are more questions or anyone else wants to share, we could take another 5 minutes perhaps.
Just in continuation of what Dia said, my thought was, are we also, while we are facing that environment of toxicity or happiness, we are reflecting our energy to them, and that's how we are seeing it as toxic or non-toxic? Or is it external to us and we are fine, and yet we have to experience that and deal with it?
Okay. So it could be seen as something external to us, but you cannot see it unless you have experienced it within you. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so the source of that toxicity exists in all human beings. The situation sometimes can trigger that within us. And when we experience that, we know that it is toxic. And then we may attribute the source of that to something external, but to know that we are experiencing it within us and we are not free from that. As long as there is avidya, this is part of us. So we are not completely blaming the external world, saying something outside is making me feel toxic, but actually saying something has got triggered within me in this environment. That's why Sangha is very important, that you are in the right satsanga so that these seeds remain dormant. And then later with practice, we'll be able to further weaken them. When we are in an environment which is very toxic, it really becomes difficult to practice, because all those seeds get awakened within us. All the negativity gets awakened within us. We become more vigilant, we become more protective of our idea of the self. And then the entire raga, dvesha, smita, abhinivesha cycle will continue. So, to offer a safe space where these seeds are in abeyance is the way you actually experience the possibilities of what potential you carry and how that can be manifest. And that's why yoga sadhana space is important. That in this space, we become very different when we come into the yoga sadhana space. Something about the yoga sadhana, those of you who have been part of it will vouch for it. Something about it, that we actually create that space for each other, where we can be absolutely free, relaxed, be non-judgmental to a large extent, learn to drop the judgments, meet each other where we are, and walk together very joyfully. That is what yoga sadhana offers. Jyoti, does that answer your question?
Yes, thank you. Yes, thank you.
So we could also look at it in two ways. Okay, one is we are saying, okay, if I am experiencing somebody in my context who's toxic, am I also toxic? Am I just what I'm seeing is simply a reflection of my own toxicity? Yes, possible, because that's got triggered within me. But also to see that beyond all this, there is the space of pure awareness which nothing touches, nothing can reach there, right? The space of the buddhi that reflects the purusha, however you want to look at it. There is no difference between me and the other. There is no separation also, simply a continuum, an extension. But it appears to be separate. because of the way the mind is projecting. Have I confused you more?
Really, but I'm thinking, okay, so that buddhi will give you more awareness. So being aware of your being itself is somewhere uh, leading to the path of silence, maybe. I don't know.
Yeah, so we'll do the practice now.
Yeah, okay.
Okay. So can everyone sit with your back erect? If you're sitting on a chair, make sure your feet is on the ground. Relax your shoulders, bring your chin down. Just become aware of the sounds that you hear. The sounds around you, sounds from very far away, very subtle sounds. Can you capture everything? Simply listen without thinking, without labeling. You're simply listening to sounds, not to words, but to sounds. Try to completely be in the here and now without hanging on to the sounds that you've already heard before and replaying them in your mind. Simply stay with what you hear, what you're able to listen to now. Slowly withdraw your attention into the body. Become aware of your breath and let the breath flow in its own rhythm. Simply watch the expansion and the relaxation of the chest and the abdomen. If you're able to listen to the breath, listen to the breath. All other activities happening within the body, can you simply listen? Become aware of the sensations in your body. And as you continue to remain aware of your physical body, the breath, deepen your awareness into listening to the mind. Observe what's happening in the mind. Allow the thoughts to pass by and also let the silence be. There are thoughts and then there are pockets of silence. Just be aware of both. And now become aware of yourself, who you are, where you are, and whatever thought, ideas, feelings, beliefs, anything that comes up as you connect to yourself, just gather all of them. Become fully, intensely aware of your sense of self and all that comes as part of it. Your name, your form, your knowledge, your capabilities, your fears, the roles that you play, what you like, you don't like, what you want, your beliefs, all the conditioning that you're aware of. Gather everything. And as you gather everything intensely, become aware of how you feel that in your body, in the quality of your breath. Just for the time being, we gather everything of who we are and put it aside. Just like you're just taking a bundle and keeping it on the side, visualize you have taken everything of you and put it outside of you. Once you have placed everything, again come back into the body and just be aware. Pay attention to that which is aware and become that. As you continue to be that awareness, watch everything. Observe the body, let the thoughts come and go. Just watch everything as the awareness. And slowly expand that awareness to fill into the space around you, beyond your physical body, and become that space. Exclude nothing from this awareness. It's simply the space observing, being aware. Let everything arise and pass. It is just awareness. Slowly begin to deepen your breath. As you inhale, you continue to deepen your awareness. And as you exhale, you let go of anything that blocks you from touching the space, being in the space, becoming the space. You can always come back to the space whenever you want, even if it is for a few moments. And whenever you're ready, open your eyes. Anil, you have a question?
No, Saras, I don't know how the hand went up. Maybe when the space got occupied.
Some of these practices are so simple. They are so simple that it's difficult for us to go back to them. But just to know that there is something beyond this thinking, planning, mind, that space, and we can always go back to it. It's ever present. Is Jyoti there? Jyoti, Aarti, Divya. We're going to conclude with chanting the Shraddha Suktam so that the fire of Shraddha remains alive in all of us.
So Aarti and Divya will repeat. Others can repeat from wherever you are. Start with 3 ohms. श्रद्धयाग्निः समिध्यते श्रद्धयाग्निः समिध्यते श्रद्धया विन्दते हविः श्रद्धया विन्दते हविः श्रद्धां भगस्य मूर्धनि श्रद्धां भगस्य मूर्धनि वचसा वेदयामसि वचसा वेदयामसि प्रियगश्रद्धे तदतः प्रियगश्रद्धे ददतः प्रियगश्रद्धेति दासतः प्रियगश्रद्धेति दासतः प्रियं भोजेषु यज्वसु प्रियं भोजेषु यज्वसु इदं उदितं कृधि इदं उदितं कृधि यथा देवा असुरेषु यथा देवा असुरेषु श्रद्धामुग्रेषु चक्रिरे श्रद्धा मुग्रेषु चक्रिरे एवं भोजेषु यच्वसु एवं भोजेषु यच्वसु अस्माकमुदितं कृधि अस्माकमुदितं कृधि श्रद्धान् देवाय जमानाः श्रद्धान् देवाय जमानाः वायुर्गोपा उपासते वायुर्गोपा उपासते श्रद्धां हृदयया कूत्या श्रद्धां हृदयया कूत्या श्रद्धया हूयते हविः श्रद्धया हूयते हविः श्रद्धां प्रातर्हवामहे श्रद्धां प्रातर्हवामहे श्रद्धां मध्यन्दिनं परि श्रद्धां मध्यन्दिनं परि श्रद्धां सूर्यस्य निमृचि श्रद्धां सूर्यस्य निमृचि श्रद्धे श्रद्धापयेहमा श्रद्धे श्रद्धापयेहमा श्रद्धा देवानधिवस्ते श्रद्धा देवानभिवस्ते श्रद्धा विश्वमिदं जगत् श्रद्धा विश्वमिदं जगत् श्रद्धां कामस्य मातरम् श्रद्धां कामस्य मातरम् हविषा वर्धयामसि हविषा वर्धयामसि
Thank you everyone for joining today, taking out this time and being part of this. Lekha, is there any announcement for the sadhana people?
Just that you will receive the mail with the Zoom links for the actual sessions by either tonight or by tomorrow morning. And we hope to see all of you on October 4th, which is Saturday, 4 to 6 p.m. IST. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you, everyone.